Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajanarandana Yashodanandana Vrajanarandana Yashodanandana Vrajanarandana Yashodanandana Vrajanarandana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, नाम संकीर्तन की महाराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। लास्ट टाइम जितने थे सेशन में भी उतनी सेम फोन की थी। We'll begin with prayer. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaur Krishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Welcome all of you again for this session which is based upon Bhagavad Gita, the divine song of God. And as always, we dedicate this presentation to His Divine Grace Asi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So he was the one who emphasized that this Krishna consciousness movement is the only thing which can save the humanity. There is no hope. Everyone is gliding down to the hellish planets doing all kinds of sinful activities. But Krishna was the one to preach Krishna consciousness across the whole world. needed massive, amazing tasks, but he was a very humble personality. Means he was so humble that he always gave credit to his Guru Maharaj, that whatever I did, it's only because of my Guru Maharaj, or it's because of what my disciples did. He never took credit for himself. That was his great personality. And even when, just before he was about to go to the foreign countries for preaching, he went to darshan into the temple. At that time, Pujari came and asked that, Prabhupada, at that time he was called Bhakti Vedanta Prabhu. So he said, Bhakti Vedanta Prabhu, I heard you are going to Paschatya Desh, foreign countries, in Western countries for preaching. Is that true? So Prabhupada says, no, I am not going. Actually, this Granth like Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, they are going in foreign countries to preach. I am just going as their servant. So this was his mode. He was always a humble mode, servitude mode, like that. And if we want to progress, then we also should try to develop that kind of humble mood. In Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Shiksha Ashtakam, it is said that one has to become more humbler than grass of blade of grass. Blade of grass, you have seen? कोई भी उस पर पैर रख के चला जाता है, उसको फर्क नहीं पड़ता. It just feels like that. So we also have to develop that quality कि कभी कुछ बोले तो we become agitated. We should try not to become agitated, and we should try to become humble. Then we can also do something in this mission of Krishna consciousness. We can also go on chanting the holy names of Krishna like Prabhupada did. Prabhupada 24 hours उनका चलता ही रहता था. He even used to sleep for just 2 hours daily, और कभी कभी तो वो भी नहीं. At day and night he used to translate his books again and again, and he presented so many books. By the way, books से याद आया, you are sending sadhana reports to Akash daily, हो रहा है? Try to send your sadhana reports daily. It's just meant for tracking. ये मत सोचो कि जीरो है कैसे भेजूँ, all these things. जीरो है तो जीरो भेजो, but this is just meant for tracking. We also send, कभी जीरो भी होता है, हम कुछ ना कुछ काम रहेगा ऑफिस का, but that's fine. You just try to send reports daily, so that it will be easier for tracking. So this was the power of Prabhupada, and today's session, which Prabhupada also emphasized upon, is this unlocking the power of giving. Power of giving, समझते सब. Giving means, जैसे giving की बात आती है, you have to give your time, energy, money, everything you have to give for the service of Krishna. So today's session is specifically based upon charity. और चैरिटी सुनते ही मन में वो हो जाता है कि अरे पैसे से इतना अटैचमेंट है और देना पड़ेगा. It's a strong attachment. So why to give charity? What is the science behind charity, and what is the importance of charity? That we'll try to see today. So we have been seeing this from so many classes. Tell me, how many kinds of modes of material nature are there? Three modes. What are those?
Ignorance, passion, goodness.
Yes. So goodness, passion and ignorance are the three modes. And we see each and every activity which we do, they fall under these three modes. For example, food. खाना जो हम खाते हैं, that also falls in three modes. For example, the grains, milk, fruits, all these fall under category of which mode? नहीं, fruits, milk, ये सब these are natural products which fall under category of goodness. Passion में वो foods आते हैं which are very too much salty, too much मिर्च जिसमें होता है. All these kind of food fall under mode of passion, and mode of ignorance food is meat, non-veg, all these kind of things fall under. Or any food which is lying for more than 3 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, जो पुराना हो जाता है, that food also falls under mode of ignorance. Similarly, we have austerity in three modes. That also we saw, I think, in previous classes. So austerity in three modes, like austerity in mode of ignorance is to harm oneself and to harm others also. Like what Hiranyakashipu did. He did such a severe austerity that each and every muscle of his bone, it was eaten by ants. Only bones were remaining. So such an austerity in which he harmed himself and he harmed others also, that falls under mode of ignorance. And then mode of passion austerities, I am doing austerity and I should get something in return. That is mode of passion. And mode of goodness austerities, I am doing it for pleasure of Krishna. That is mode of goodness. So just like all these things, and another thing मेरे को याद है इससे, sometimes we do Ekadashi, who all did Ekadashi? Everyone did. So Ekadashi also we said that we should do, if we do Ekadashi for by thinking that I will get some material gain, that also falls under mode of passion. It's not in goodness. So Ekadashi one should do for mainly for spiritual advancement. Similarly, today we will see charity. What is the best way to do charity? How to do charity? And what is charity in different modes? Charity also falls in 3 modes. We will see one by one. First, we will see charity in mode of goodness. So please recite after me. दातव्यम् इति यद्दानं
दातव्यम् इति यद्दानं
दीयते अनुपकारिणे
दीयते अनुपकारिणे
देशे काले च पात्रे च
देशकाले च पात्रे च
तद्दानं सात्विकं स्मृतं
तद्दानं सात्विकं स्मृतम्.
Translation?
Charity given out of duty without expectation of return at the proper time and place and to a worthy person is considered to be in the mode of goodness.
See, so many constraints are there for mode of goodness charity. Charity should be done out of duty without expectation for return. कि मैं इतना दे रहा हूँ तो मुझे future time में I will get so much in return. So that does not fall in goodness. So without expectation of return, at proper time and place and to a worthy person. ऐसा नहीं किसी को भी charity दे दो. To a worthy person who really needs that kind of charity. That when all these criteria are met, जब सब में green tick लग जाए, at that time that charity is considered to be in mode of goodness. Then what is charity in mode of passion? यत्तु प्रत्युपकारार्थं फलम् उद्दिश्य वा पुनः दीयते च परिक्लिष्टं तद्दानं राजसंस्मृतं. Translation?
But charity performed with the expectation of some return or with a desire for future results or in a grudging mood is said to be charity in the mode of passion.
So 3 things mentioned: charity with expectation of something in return. I am doing something and I will get something in return. That falls under mode of passion. Or with a desire for fruitive result. That I am doing something, so I will get a place in heavenly planets. मैं ये charity करूँगा so I will be placed in heaven. This one is also in mode of passion or in grudging mode. Grudging mode मतलब जैसे किसी superior ने बोला you give charity, पर मन नहीं है फिर भी हम मन मार के दे रहे हैं charity. That kind of charity, even though you are giving to a good organization or something, but still it will fall under mode of passion because you are doing in grudging mood. So mood is also very, very important. And then what about charity in mode of ignorance? Adesha kale yaddanam apatrebhyascha diyate asatकृतम् avajñātam tattāmasam udāratam.
Charity performed at an impure place, at an improper time to unworthy persons or without proper attention and respect is said to be in the mode of ignorance.
Example? Beggars को हम देते हैं ना charity. कोई दया का भाव आ जाता है हमें. We give some charity to the beggars, but you never know what he will do with that money. He might use it for his intoxication and all those kind of things. So in Vedic times, charity were meant to be given to only Brahmanas. Because Brahmanas were only the beggars. Kshatriya, Vaishya, even Shudras were not beggars. They were not allowed to beg. They were serving the other 3 parties. But only Brahmanas were allowed to beg. That was the level of beggars at that time. And unko charity jab do, at that time only you can get some benefit. Otherwise, now today's day, beggar ko kuch diya, what he will do, we also don't know with that money. And even though you are not getting involved in intoxication, if he is using your money, you will also get the same. So it's very, very dangerous to give ऐसी बिना कुछ जाने to give charity. It's very, very dangerous. Another example is modern day tips देते ना, बार में चले जाओ, रेस्टोरेंट में चले जाओ. Those tips they also fall under this place because it's to an unworthy person. Because charity ideally it's meant to be given to Brahmanas only, not anyone else. Now we'll see what is charity in mode of pure goodness. So 3 modes we all know, but what is pure goodness or Shuddha Sattvic? We say in Sanskrit, what is that? So this is something which is transcendental to three modes, or it's when it's we talk about spiritual planet, spiritual world, and there this mode is prevalent, or mode of pure goodness, where there is no tinge of passion and ignorance, only pure goodness there. So let's understand that kind of charity with an example. So this pastime, and everyone knows this pastime. What happened to this pastime? So there is in Srimad Bhagavatam in 2 verses very nicely Shukdev Goswami describes this pastime. So I'll just read the 2 verses. Shukdev Goswami says, Krinihi bho falaniti shrutva sattvaram achyutah falarthi dhanyamadaya bho sarva phala prada. So translation goes like that once a woman selling fruit was calling, O inhabitants of Rajbhumi, if you want to purchase some fruits, come here. Upon hearing this, Krishna immediately took some grains and went to barter as if he needed some fruits. So what happened once a fruit vendor, a tribal lady, she came to sell fruits in Vrindavan. And Krishna is mentioned here as Falahari, Fala-arthi, or who is desiring of fruits. So he thought, oh, I want some fruits. So what he did, he collected some grains, because at that time barter system used to go on. That you want fruit, then in return you have to give something which would be valuable for that person. So immediately he took some grains, but what to do? He had very small hands, little baby Krishna. So he had very small hands, and with that hands also he was carrying grains like this. Now in this manner you can carry apples, but grains to bhagenge to गिर जाएंगे. So with that hands he went to that fruit vendor. Now later what happened? Phala vikarini tasya achyuta dhanya karadvayam phaler apuriyad ratnai phala bhandam apuri cha. While Krishna was going to the fruit vendor very hastily, most of the grains he was holding fell. Nonetheless, the fruit vendor filled Krishna's hand with fruits, and her basket was immediately filled with jewels and gold. This is called the charity mode of pure goodness or Shuddha Sattva. Now what happened? As soon as he went with little grains, at that time fruit vendor, she was mesmerized with the beauty of Krishna, how beautiful this boy is. And she thought, okay, this much grains are enough for me, I'll give you all. And she filled all his both hands with all the fruits. She gave completely all the fruits. And at that time what happened? Krishna reciprocated immediately. Or her basket was filled with gems, all kinds of jewels. Her basket was filled with everything. So in this pastime we understand that it is impossible to understand Krishna. Because in first verse if you see, very nicely Shukdev Goswami says, what term he used for Krishna is Phala-arthi. He is desire of fruit. But in the same verse he says, Sarva Phala Prada. He is the one who gave fruits to everyone, fruits of their reaction, fruits of karma. And he is desirer of fruit. So it's very difficult to understand. He is the one who gives everything, and now he is desiring something which he already has. This is impossible to understand. How can someone understand that? And in next verse, he says, one of the names of Krishna is Achyuta. What is the meaning of Achyut? Achyut means one who never falls down from his position. Like when Krishna took the role of chariot driver of Arjuna, at that time Arjuna referred him as Achyuta. So even though now he is Supreme Personality of Godhead, but now even though he is acting as a normal mere chariot driver, but that does not mean he has fallen from his position. He is still that same Supreme Transcendental Personality of Godhead. So that is what it's meant by Achyuta. Even though he may take some roles and responsibility, but his position as Supreme God cannot be challenged. This is meaning of Achyuta, and any person whom Achyuta or Krishna holds, he also becomes Achyuta. Because Krishna, if he holds anyone, he never leaves. And the example comes of Putna. The Putna, she came on her own to feed the milk. And when now Krishna said, okay, now she accepted. And now even though Putna wanted Krishna to leave her, but still Krishna didn't leave. Because Krishna, once he catches hold of someone, he does not leave. So one of the names of Krishna is Achyuta, because he also never falls down, and to the devotees whom he catches once, he also never falls down. But still, when he was taking grains in his hand, those grains fell down. How is it possible? This is the inconceivability of Krishna. Like that, so many inconceivable pastimes are there. Like you have heard of Kunti Maharani? So Kunti Maharani also in Bhagavatam first canto she prays to Krishna. In that one of the prayers she says, that one of the pastimes of Krishna was of Ukhal Bandhan. You all have heard of this pastime? When Krishna was tied to that Ukhala, what do we call in English? That mortaring machine, grain mortaring machine. जो चक्की पीसते हैं ना वो मशीन होता है तो कृष्णा वॉज बीइंग वेरी नॉटी सो शी टाइड कृष्णा टू दैट वुडन ग्राइंडिंग mortar. So at that time Krishna was so fearful that he was crying, his voice was shaking. And at that time Kunti Maharani was also there in Vrindavan because she is the relative of Krishna. So at that time she saw Krishna and she was completely mad that what is this happening. He is the same supreme personality of Godhead whom even fear personified fears. डर को भी जिससे डर लगता है वो कृष्ण है और that Krishna is crying in fear of his mother. How is that possible? But still Krishna performs this pastime for the pleasure of his devotee. When it's inconceivable, it's not possible for us to understand. Similarly, Krishna's pastimes are like that we cannot understand. So in that way, when the fruit vendor reciprocated just for little grains, she gave her all the fruits. Krishna immediately filled her basket with all kinds of gems and jewels. So similarly, we can understand that Krishna, just as Krishna gave little grains to that fruit vendor, Krishna has given little grains to us also, which are the benefits or facilities which we have received. Like for example, starting from basics, what you have received from Krishna? If you begin from basics, whatever sunlight, air, food, clothing, everything is given by Krishna only to us. But what have we given to Krishna? That is the question mark. हमको तो थोड़ा टाइम देने में भी हम सोचते हैं कि ये सेवा के लिए जाना पड़ेगा, इतना टाइम है नहीं मेरे पास. We think that much. All basics is given by us. Then another thing is all our senses are working very nicely, perfectly. Hands, legs, everything is working. Outside we see so many people are suffering of so many diseases, but we are fortunate enough that we have not got any of those things. And then so many skills and talents Krishna has given us, even that which we are using for at our workplaces. Everything is given by Krishna only. And most importantly, this opportunity of association of devotees, which is the only way of breaking the cycle of birth and death. This everything Krishna has given. These are the little grains which Krishna has given to us. But now the question is what we have given to Krishna. So that this is the way of thinking of a devotee. A devotee always thinks that Krishna has given me so much, now it's my turn to do something. So, and devotees struggle to give their time, physical energy, all those things. Money तो फिर भी दे देते कि हाँ थोड़ा सैलरी का 10% मैं दे दूँगा. But devotees struggle to give their time, efforts. Like we see weekend classes ही होते हैं. At that time only devotees come. Generally weekdays पे कोई दिखता भी नहीं है मंदिर में. So this is where we have to improve, that we have to try to give more and more time, energy, money, everything what we can give to Krishna. And in this way, when we try to fill hands of Krishna with little fruits which we have got, then what can we do something for Krishna in actuality? He has everything. He is Lakshmipati. He has all the money. What our little money, what Krishna का क्या improve होता है थोड़े पैसे देने में. But when we give money to Krishna, what happens? Reciprocation happens. Krishna says, oh, he is giving some his hard-earned money, he is giving up his attachment for me, so I also will reciprocate with him. He is unlimited, we cannot give him anything, but still Krishna so mercifully he accepts everything what he can give. And he does not have big list of demands कि मुझे ये चाहिए वो चाहिए वो चाहिए. In Bhagavad Gita he simply says that this patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati. So you can give me anything, just a leaf, a flower, a water, anything. These all are basic things which you can find everywhere. Even a poor person can afford water, fruits, flower, anything, all these things. So Krishna does not have big demands. He just wants loving reciprocation. That's what it's more important. Let's see a few more pastimes to understand that when a devotee reciprocated a little, how much Krishna gave back to him. So anyone who is this person who is sitting on this house? Sudama. Yes. So Sudama, he was a very poor Brahmana. So much so that they didn't have enough to eat. They were struggling so much, and then the wife of Sudama said that why don't your friend Krishna, he is a great Kshatriya king. Why don't you go to him and ask something from him? He will give you lots of things. But Sudama was hesitant. Devotees are hesitant to ask anything. But since she was forced by her wife, Sudama said, okay, I'll go to Krishna. But then what to do? We should not go empty-handed. but Krishna didn't have anything to give. Sudama didn't have anything to give to Krishna. So at that time, his wife of Sudama, she went door to door to beg something, and she got little poha from various houses, and she collected that, she gave to Sudama. And Sudama, with that little poha, he started his journey to Dwarka. And that time, so many things happened. He met Krishna, and then Krishna was very emotional to see him. So much so that with the tears of Krishna, he washed the legs of Sudama, the feet of Sudama. So much reciprocation we saw. At that time, Krishna says, "Oh Sudama, you come from so far place. What have you got for me?" At that time also Sudama was very hesitant that how can I? He is a great king. ये कच्चा पोहा दे करके क्या होगा? So he was hesitant. No, I didn't bring anything, and he was hiding his poha from behind. But Krishna is Paramatma in everyone's heart. So he immediately saw, what are you hiding from behind? He says, nothing. But still he snatched that poha from his hand. And then he said, oh, that's very nice. And he took one morsel of that and he started eating. So, no, it's very nice. It's like heavenly planet. And then again he took one more morsel and he started eating. And then third morsel he was about to pick and Rukmini stopped Krishna that, oh, this is not meant for you. आपने बहुत एंजॉय कर लिया, अब हमें भी थोड़ा एंजॉय करने दो. एंड वो पोहा ले लिया उनके हाथ से. So Sudama had desire in his heart. He wanted something from Krishna, but still he was so reluctant. But he didn't ask anything for Krishna, and he just went back. But as we say, Krishna is Paramatma in everyone's heart. So he knew that Sudama is, and he wants some wealth or something for his family. So at that time, what happened when Sudama went back? Already a great palace was standing. His wife was ready with great ornaments. His children were nicely decorated with ornaments. At that time, Sudama was shocked. And Krishna also, he didn't tell that when you go back, all these things, facilities will be there. So why Krishna didn't tell? Anyone knows?
Maybe Sudama might not accept.
There is a more deeper reason, and that shows the sweetness of Krishna. So Krishna was feeling that he has given very insufficiently to Sudama. Why he was feeling like that? Even though he has given a big palace and he received little poha, but still Krishna was thinking that I have given very insufficient to him. Why like that? Because Sudama gave something which was much out of his comfort zone. He went and begged from various places, and that he gave to Krishna. But Krishna, for giving a palace to someone, is it a big deal for Krishna? No. So Krishna was thinking, he has given something to me out of his comfort zone, and I have given nothing to him. It was simply with my flip of fingers that palace came. So that's why Krishna was in embarrassment. कि इसने मुझे इतना कुछ दिया पर मैं इसको कुछ नहीं दे पा रहा, तो मैं क्या बताऊँ इसको? तो इसको जाने दो अभी, और when you will see palace, maybe you will be satisfied. So by this we understand the sweet nature of Krishna, that even though if we give little to Krishna with a proper mood, going out of our comfort zone, Krishna reciprocates so much. And then another example which we see in case of Mahabharata is case of Draupadi. So once something happened and Krishna started bleeding from the fingers. At that time Draupadi saw that Krishna might be in pain. So immediately पल्लू का थोड़ा सा साड़ी का हिस्सा फाड़ा and she tied it around Krishna's hands so that he doesn't bleed anymore. And Krishna remembered this very nicely during, so much so that during the time of Chirharan, Vastraharan was happening in the court of Dhritarashtra. At that time, what happened? All these relatives of Draupadi, all the husbands of Draupadi, they were sitting helplessly. They couldn't do anything. And at any point of time, our situation is also like that. We are also helpless only. We think that our family or our relatives may help us, our friends may help us in all difficult times. But a quote in Srimad Bhagavatam, it clarifies it, that actually time of need no one can help you. In Srimad Bhagavatam there is a quote that says, Deha apatya kalatrideshu atma semishu asatswapi tesham pramatto nidanam pashyanapi na pashyati. That it goes that we all think ourselves that we have many soldiers. Who are those soldiers? My wife, my friends, my relatives, my money. All these are my soldiers and they will help me in difficult times. But what happens with time? All these soldiers keep on falling. My father has gone, maybe my wife has gone, my elder brother has gone. Everyone are falling one by one, and at the end ultimately my time will also come that I will fall. But in that situation only one personality can help us, that is Krishna only. But we try to ignore him all our life. So that's why Draupadi, but devotees like Draupadi, they are not like that. They are completely dependent upon Krishna. Even Pandavas, they were so powerful, but still they were not dependent upon their own strength. Whenever some problem would come, they would run to Krishna only, even though they were so powerful. Because that is dependency of Krishna. And so Krishna also reciprocates. So that loving relationship is something that which devotees think of developing, that Krishna has given me so much, what have I given to Krishna? Another very famous and very interesting pastime is that of Bali Maharaj. So who is Bali Maharaj?
Grandson of Prahlad.
So Bali Maharaj is grandson of a great devotee, Prahlad Maharaj. So he was a great king. He belonged to the dynasty of demons. So he was so powerful that he had conquered all the 14 planetary systems. Everything was in his hands. Now Devatas were very, very afraid now what to do. Everything he has, we don't even have any place to stay. So at that time, Krishna took the avatar of Vaman Dev. So Vaman Dev, Vaman समझते हैं जो height में छोटा होता है. Means his body has not grown physically. He might be aged of 40-50, but he is जो dwarf person we say, not dwarf person. So that was his avatar. So that was an avatar of Brahmana. So this Brahmana, Krishna in form of Brahmana as Vaman Dev, came to Bali Maharaj, and Bali Maharaj was very, very charitable. So if any Brahmana would come, he would give it any Brahmana profusely, whatever he asked for. So at that time Vaman Dev came, with his little legs he came, and he said, please give me 3 steps of land. I just want 3 steps of land, like that. And then Bali Maharaj thought, see, you are a small Brahmana, maybe you don't know that आजकल के ज़माने में 3 step ज़मीन से कुछ नहीं होता. Nothing happens. And that time Vaman Dev gave a very nice philosophy. That the summary of philosophy is that one who is not satisfied with even 3 steps of land, he would not be even satisfied with even if he is given whole 14 planetary system. So one who is not even satisfied with basic needs, उसको जितना भी facilities दे दो, at the end he will be remain always unsatisfied only. At that time he said, my desire only, just give me 3 steps of land. That is the only thing which I want. So he said, okay, even if you want charity, your legs are very small. I have in my army there are big demons. Maybe उनका 3 steps में दे देता हूँ उनको, they have huge feet. उनका 3 steps दे देता हूँ. He said, no, just give me what I want. So then he started to pour water in the feet of Vaman Dev. That is the way to give charity. That I have accepted your deed, and now I have promised that I will give you what you want. And at that time, his guru, who was his guru? Shukracharya is the guru of all the demons. So at that time, he said he was a Trikaldarshi. He could see future also. So at that time, he warned Bali Maharaj that he is Vishnu only. He has come in avatar of Brahmana, and he is here to trick you and take away all your wealth and all your planetary system. So don't fall into this trap. Don't give anything to him. Don't give any false promises. He will take your everything. But at that time, Bali Maharaj, he said, even though Krishna has come, but the scripture says that we should surrender to Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if a guru says against this, that you should not surrender to Vishnu, then that guru can be rejected. So Bali Maharaj, by birth, he was grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. He was also a great devotee. So even though in family of demon, he was a great devotee. And then he said, he rejected his spiritual master's instruction. That how can you give an instruction which is against the scriptures? Because Sadhu, Guru, Shastra, all 3 of them work together. They don't say anything which is opposed to each other. And here you are saying something against the Shastra. So he rejected even his spiritual master. And then he said, I will give you any charity which you want. And at that time what Bali Maharaj did is, he expanded his body so much so that with his 2 steps only, he covered entire 14 planetary system. तो एक पैर था सबसे नीचे, दूसरा पैर था सबसे ऊपर, ब्रह्मालोक पर. So he completed, उन्होंने all 14 planetary systems, he measured with just his 2 steps. Now he was very, very angry at Bali Maharaj, that what kind of king you are. You promised me that you will give me 3 steps of land, and 2 में तुम्हारा तो सारा राज्य खत्म हो गया. Now, and Bali Maharaj was not like any ordinary person like us. He was king of all 14 planetary systems. All his associates are standing, and at that time he was blaspheming. Externally he is showing his anger. Externally Vaman Dev is showing his anger that you cannot even fulfill your promise. What kind of king you are? And at that time, Bali Maharaj very humbly, knowing that he is Supreme Personality of Godhead, he said that you have taken everything, now third step you can keep on my head and I am also surrendering myself completely to you. So Krishna only gives the intelligence to devotees to deal with difficult situations. So he only gave intelligence to Bali Maharaj that third step can be kept on him in a way to signify that I also belong to you only, which is the goal of everyone. Everything is of Krishna, this material energy of Krishna, we are also of Krishna only. So ultimate thing is we should also be in service of Krishna. So Bali Maharaj showed this intelligence and Mahamandev became very very happy. Bali Maharaj. And he blessed him profusely. So what happened? Whatever Krishna took from him, he gave all 14 planetary systems back to him. With that, he gave him Sutal Loka. So Sutal Loka, it's considered that its opulence is even much higher than all heavenly planets combined together. So he gave him Sutal Loka as well. And what he did, that he stood as doorkeeper of that planet, saying that I will protect my devotee from all kinds of enemies. So this was Krishna reciprocated. He didn't just give everything back, but he purified that and he gave it back, and he was ready to become a doorkeeper. And then one more thing which he gave is, now in next Manvantara you will be the Indra. Already he was having the opulence of Indra, and now he said in next Manvantara you will be Indra. So Bali Maharaj said that whenever next Manvantara will start, he will replace the current Indra and now he will be the Indra. So you all know that Indra, Surya, these are all just posts. These are not names of personality. So in Bhagavad Gita you might have heard that currently who is on position of Surya Dev is Vivaswan. So he is that personality. So all these are posts which you can also get. Maybe you can also become Indra, Surya, all these kinds of things. But devotees does not aspire for that. Why?
Because they want Krishna.
So they want only Krishna, and they know all these posts are temporary only. Today I might be very very great demigod, but tomorrow what happens, because of my karma I will be pushed to very lower grade of species. Like Indra, he was cursed to become a hog. So in same life he was Indra, and in same life he was pig also, which is considered to be the lowest creature. So in material nature nothing is permanent. The devotees know this very well and they want to serve Krishna only. So that's why Bali Maharaj, he gave everything, and one who gives everything to Krishna, he is not the loser. He does not, Krishna is not that I will take everything and I will go away. He gave him much 10,000 times multiplied, and he gave it back. So similarly devotees, Prabhupada quotes this many times, devotees जब प्रसाद दिखाते हैं भगवान को, so they also fear that if Krishna eats everything then what will happen? मैं क्या खाऊंगा कृष्णा के लिए? Prabhupada बोलते हैं ना भगवद गीता में that you make food for Krishna and you offer it to Krishna. But then devotee might ask them, what about me? What will I eat? Devotees are fearful. So Krishna is so merciful that he glances at it, in the way he accepts it also, and he gives back his prasad to devotees, which becomes sinless. So just by giving little prasad to him, what happens? He gives that prasad back also, and he makes that food sinless. And not just sinless, but by whoever eats that prasad, he becomes spiritually nourished. So this is the merciful nature of Krishna. So this is how we understand that why one should give charity. So in purport to 18.5 Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada says, similarly, charity is for purification of heart. If charity is given to suitable persons, as described previously, it leads one to spiritual advancement of life. So that's why one should try to give more and more charity, and in return Krishna will handle everything. So just as that fruit vendor is there, she gave little fruits to Krishna and all her baskets was filled with gems. So similarly, we have also a gems formula. So what are the 4 things which you get when you give charity to Krishna? First thing which happens is you grow materially. ऐसा नहीं है कि मैंने अपना सैलरी का 10% कृष्णा को दे दिया, that is lost. No, Prabhupada said that is your permanent, eternal, उतना बैंक अकाउंट में जमा हो गया which will never go. Just as you do little service also for Krishna, vessel washing, kitchen cleaning, any service you do Krishna, Krishna makes a note of this. That that day he did service for me, and Krishna feels very much indebted. Said that this person has given so much to me, what have I given? And he gives the devotees profusely. He is expressing gratitude and expedite purification. So it's a way of expressing gratitude to Krishna that Krishna has given me so much, now it's my opportunity. Now it's my opportunity to give something to Krishna. And expedite purification, like purification becomes very very fast. It happens in an exponential rate. Third is mission's growth. Like we see this Krishna consciousness movement, the mission's growth, as as more the mission grows, more and more people can be saved from going to the hellish conditions of life. So for growth of mission also it helps a lot. We'll see how in detail. And fourth and final, the main goal is to satisfy Krishna. So these are the 4 things which devotees looks for. So let's see this in detail. So G means growing materially. What does it mean? When you give something to Krishna, you grow materially also. So first thing, when you give a charity, what happened? Sudama, when he gave, big palace was already ready. Bali Maharaj, when he gave, all 14 land systems were ready for him. So whenever you give even little charity to Krishna, the person grows materially. Now one may ask that why should I give charity? मेरे पास already थोड़ा ही है, वो भी कृष्णा को दे दूंगा तो कैसे चलेगा? So first let Krishna give me so much, and when he gives me so much, then I will give little to Krishna. So this is the general notion of devotees. But let's try to discuss our fundamental concept here, or revision of a fundamental concept here, which we studied in karma philosophy also. So how does one person become rich or poor? We discussed in karma philosophy. By karma only one is rich and poor. Is it that by accumulating more and more money will I become rich? Then that calculation, it's a material calculation and it's completely wrong. If it's so that just by accumulating more and more money I can become rich, then why are so many poor people are still existing? So some are rich, some are poor based upon karma only. And how do you accumulate karma, or how do you accumulate punya? By doing good activities, by doing pious activities, even by giving charity. That's the way you accumulate punya. That's the way you become rich. So anyone who gives charity, first thing what happens is his punya increases. And when his punya increases, automatically he also becomes materially rich. So one who gives charity, he will get returns not just in this life but in upcoming life also. So it's not that कि अभी मैं accumulate करूँगा, जब बढ़ जाएगा तो कृष्णा को दूंगा. No. When you already give to Krishna, it's noted, and you will also get many fold times the return back to you. So it's not that मैं accumulate करता रहूँगा तो मेरा पैसा बढ़ जाएगा. By giving आपका पैसा बढ़ता है. When you give in such services, so many multiple folds it comes back to you. And this shloka is quoted in Manusmriti also, and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes it at many places. So he says, Samam Brahmane Danam Dviguna Brahma Bruve Pradite Sata Sahasra Anantam Veda Aparage. So he says, when you give a charity to non-Brahmana, we say ideally charity is meant to give it to Brahmanas only, not anyone else. But when you give to a charity to non-Brahmana, what happens? The amount which you have given, that comes back to you. This is Shastric quotation. So जैसे आप किसी गरीब को 100 रुपए दिया, so उतना ही पैसा आपको वापस मिलेगा charity. There is no loss. But what happens when someone gives to a Brahmana for name only? He is not even a true Brahmana who has studied all Vedas, but he is just a relative of Brahmana. He is a so-called Brahmana. Even if you give to that kind of Brahmana, if you give little charity, you will get it 2 times. Amount doubles. Let's say if you are giving 100 rupees to that Brahmana, you will get 200 rupees in return. But the main thing to understand is, what if we give to a Brahmana who has studied all Vedas thoroughly, who has came to the conclusion of Vedanta Sutra, so what happens? Sata Sahasra Anantam. So you get money multiplied by Sahasra Sata. You understand? Sahasra Sata. 100,000. That is 1 lakh times you get back in return. That's what we also saw in the beginning, the charity in mode of goodness. If it's given to a correct patra, then it comes back multi-fold time. Similarly, if you give charity to a Brahmana, you receive back 100,000 times. Or then 100 रुपए दिया तो 100 into 1 lakh वापस आएगा. कितना होगा? 1 crore. This is how you see billionaire ऐसे बनता है. अभी इस लाइफ में हम देखते हैं कि हाँ कोई स्टार्टअप खोला, अचानक से मिलियनेयर बन गए. बट स्टार्टअप तो इतने लोग खोलते हैं, इतने लोगों का लॉस होता है, तो वही लोग क्यों मिलियनेयर बने? बिकॉज दे हैड डन सम दिस काइंड ऑफ चैरिटी, दे वर वेरी स्मार्ट. वो बोलते हैं ना 25 दिन में पैसा डबल. तो वो स्कीम उन लोग को पता है कि कैसे वो स्कीम को अप्लाई करना है. उन्होंने सही जगह अप्लाई किया है. दे हैड गिवन चैरिटी टू सम योग्य पात्र, एंड नाउ दे आर रिसीविंग इन so much multiplied thousands of times. And what it says that leave about Brahmana. If you give to a Vaishnava, the return which you get is Ananta. Ananta means infinite. Means you not just grow materially, but you grow spiritually also. That it means by Ananta. Maybe किसी ब्राह्मण को दे देंगे तो 100,000 times you will get money, but what you will do of that money? तो मनी से enjoyment करोगे, वापस पाप पुण्य के साइकिल में फंसोगे. You will not be relieved from clutches of birth and death. But if you give to some charity to a pure Vaishnava like Srila Prabhupada, then return is infinite because you are liberated from this clutches of birth and death. So, and then in Srimad Bhagavatam also very nice shloka comes. It says, Ayur harati bhai pumsam udyanastan chayanasau tasya rite yat shanonita uttama shloka vartaya. So it says that Ayur harati bhai pumsam, that age of person, it decreases. How it decreases? By rising and setting of sun. So जैसे जैसे सूर्य उगता है, सूर्य ढलता है, what happens? Our life is getting reduced because days are getting shorter and shorter. So everyone's life is getting shortened by rising of sun and setting of sun. But one person's life is not reducing by rising and setting of sun. Who? Ayurarti vai pumsam udyanastan yanasam tasya rite yat shanonita uttama shloka varta. That one who is engaged in hearing the glories of Krishna, his life does not reduces. Now you may ask that अभी तो हम कथा सुन रहे हैं पर तब भी लाइफ तो कम हो रहा है ना. How to understand this? We are still hearing Krishna Katha. Here in Bhagavatam, it says that one who hears Krishna Katha, his life is not reduced. But still we say time is going, life is reducing. How to understand this thing? Any guesses? Even on material platform. How to understand this? For example, let's say charity का example we saw, that a person who is giving 100 rupees charity to someone, even a non-brahmana, उसका loss है क्या कुछ? 100 rupees वापस मिलेगा ना उसको? Is there a loss? Even though seemingly he is giving, but ultimately there is no loss. What to speak of giving to a qualified brahmanas? He will get something which is much more valuable. So similarly, when we are spending our time in hearing Krishna Katha, seemingly हमारा time जा रहा है, but when we are hearing more and more Krishna Katha, we are preparing ourselves to go back to Godhead, which is eternal life. तो अभी थोड़ा सा टाइम दे के हमको क्या मिल रहा है? Eternal life मिल रहा है. तो there is no comparison. So actually, even though it may seem our life is getting reduced, but no, it's not getting reduced. It's getting eternal because we are preparing ourselves. The more person hears Krishna Katha, the more he prepares himself to go back to Godhead, which is eternal life of Sat Chit and Anand. That is complete consciousness and complete bliss. So in that we can understand that the time when you are hearing Krishna Katha, your life is not getting reduced, but it is increasing with time. And that's why this is the best engagement. Job करोगे, coding करोगे, उसमें क्या होगा? Life is anyways getting reduced because at that time you are not hearing Krishna Katha. But so that's why our goal is, many devotees coding करते हुए भी कान में earphone लगा के प्रभुपाद का lecture चलाते हैं. So many people, even when I was working in my office, मैं बैग लेके जाता था और बैग में I used to keep my bead bag and I used to take the most corner desk जहाँ कोई नहीं आता, टीम से अलग बैठता था. And I was lucky that my team, they didn't used to come regularly. So I used to sit in the corner of my desk and बैग में हाथ डाल करके ऐसे बैठ करके बैग में bead bag होता था and I used to chant like that. Similarly, devotees, they take out many innovative ideas to continue their spirituality in office environment also. Of course, you should do your work also. ऐसा नहीं है कि बाद में जॉब से फायर हो गए, प्रभु जी ने बोला था कि चैंटिंग करो ऑफिस में बैठ के. So it's not like that. You do work also, but at 8 hours ऑफिस में बैठे तो 8 घंटे तो काम नहीं करते हैं, आधा टाइम तो टाइम पास ही करते हैं. तो उसकी जगह you can do all these kinds of things. And by doing all these kinds of things, you are preparing yourself for that life. So similarly, when you give charity to a person like pure devotee like Prabhupada, or when you give something to his movement, the return which you get is ananta, or it has no comparison. So many pastimes we have like that. So when charity is utilized in devotional purposes, the growth is immense. So much so that when Bali Maharaj gave, in next mantra he got that you will become Indra only. Log kitna, it said that you have to do 100 Ashwamedha sacrifices. Even doing one Ashwamedha sacrifice is very very difficult. और छोटा भी गलती हो गया, so that is cancelled. 99% तक you did all right, but last में कुछ गलती कर दिया तो that is cancelled, that is not counted. So like that continuously you have to do 100 Ashwamedha yajnas. At that time you get position of Indra. But here he got it very easily by giving just a little to Krishna. So that is power of doing charity. So similarly, those who give contribution to expand these activities of Krishna consciousness movement and to accomplish its objectives will never be losers. They will get their wealth back with the blessings of Lord Krishna. This is the quotation of Srila Prabhupada in his purpose he quote there. They will get their wealth back with blessings of Krishna. Just prasad हम offer करते हैं तो it comes back to us with blessings of Krishna. Similarly, it happens with wealth. And so many devotees in our community also, in ISKCON Whitefield also, we see they are so much convinced of this philosophy. If there was one Grihastha council of Kartikeya Prabhu, so he used to give profusely he used to give in thousands each and every month. So and at some point of time he came to Kartikeya Prabhu and he said, I want to sponsor this program also. At that time he asked that it's a good thing you are giving so much, but already you are giving so much, now you want to sponsor this also. What will you do? Savings तो रहेगा नहीं तुम्हारा, क्या करोगे? Savings तो बचाना है बाद में. Full time if you want to become, you should have good savings. So at that time he said that one thing which I observed, that person, the devotee observed is, हम जितना सेव करते हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं यूज हो जाता है. This was the word of his, that कहीं ना कहीं hospital bills या कहीं ना कहीं it gets used away. But this I observed that when I give for this movement, when I give for service of Krishna, I get much times more return. So that's why I keep on giving. This was his realization. And then there was one more devotee. He came to Kartikeya Prabhu. He had a property in his village. So that he sold, he got 70 lakhs. And that was his savings. And he told that अपना जो नया टेम्पल है उसके पास हमको मैं सोच रहा हूँ मैं एक प्रॉपर्टी ले लूँ for brahmacharis. He said, and then Kartikeya Prabhu asked that, okay, how much savings you have? So he said 70 lakhs. So he said that also you want to give, but of course he didn't accept because it's an amount, and at one point of time we should have savings. Like all of us, we are doing devotional service. Most of us will get married, but then at some point of time, after age of 50 years, you are expected to enter Vanaprastha ashram, where you should be completely dependent upon Krishna. Where it's only full-time devotional service. ऐसा नहीं है कि end moment तक coding करते करते I will reach Krishna. You have to leave your job at some point of time and do full-time devotional service. Prabhupada used to say that at least 10-15 years before you leave body, you should do full-time devotional service. Then there is some chance. So that is also goal for us. You are doing all these jobs and everything, but at some point of time you should have that aim of quitting also, doing full-time devotional service. इतना हम क्लास में सुनते हैं उसको practically implement भी करना. So his point was you should have little savings also. And he said, no, I don't need savings. Krishna will take care. But still we didn't accept, of course, because we should to be practical also. So the point which I am showing that devotees automatically when they give and when they get something in return, that faith develops, that strong faith develops that Krishna will take care of me even in difficult situations. So that is the point, that you grow materially as well. Next is E. Express gratitude and expedite purification. So devotees in general, they are not very keen for material benefits because they know that materially jitna bhi mila, that is temporary only. So but still they give to Krishna. Why? To express gratitude to Krishna, that Krishna, you have given me so much. As I have already discussed, he is Lakshmipati. He does not need हमारे 1-2 से उनका कुछ नहीं होगा. He is already having millions and millions of things. But still, when we do, a loving exchange happens, and at that time, devotee expresses his gratitude to Krishna. And another important thing which happens is expedite purification. So it's said in Bhagavad Gita that 3 things even great souls should do. What are those 3 things? Yajna, Dana and Tapa. So Yajna, what is the meaning of Yajna? Sacrifices. So Treta Yuga में fire sacrifice करते हैं, so any sacrifice that is considered in the category of Yajna. Dana and Tapa, austerities. So these 3 things even great persons should do. Why? Because it purifies even them. Even great persons get purified by doing these 3 things. Then what to speak of impure souls like us? Will we not get purified by doing these activities? So this is very important thing, that it expedites our purification. Like, why are we coming back to this material world again and again successfully, celebrating our birthdays? You all are sitting here because you have some sukriti, you have done some devotional activities in past life. Only then they can come. बट स्टिल पास्ट लाइफ में पूरा नहीं हुआ, इसीलिए हम इधर आए और सक्सेसफुली इधर ही, और आगे भी अगर सीरियस नहीं होंगे तो सक्सेसफुली विल स्टे हियर ओनली सेलिब्रेटिंग बर्थडेज लाइफ आफ्टर लाइफ. सो व्हाई आर वी कमिंग बैक हियर अगेन एंड अगेन? Because of our attachments. Still some attachments are there which are left unfulfilled, and Krishna is giving us opportunity that you fulfill your desires. So these attachments are the only reason which we are coming back again and again. So these attachments are to be broken. And how? By giving it gets broken. Attachment कभी भी जाता है जब हम देते हैं. That expedites our purification. Like when we slog so much in our companies, when we earn money with our hard efforts, and when we give something of that to Krishna, what happens? Krishna sees that he is giving hard and wealth to me. So Krishna in return he gives him faith and he gives him purification of heart. और जब हम कुछ देते हैं तो देने से हमारा heart it becomes more and more wider. Like कभी भी observe करना, when someone comes and asks and you give it, you feel very nice. Automatically a feeling of jubilation is there. And when you say no, I don't have anything, your heart becomes more and more hard. So when you give away charity to Krishna, what happens? Your attachment is getting broken because you are giving. आप दे रहे हो कुछ कृष्णा को. So now your attachment is growing weaker and weaker, and eventually your attachment will be broken, and then at that time you have any chance of going back to God. If attachments are there, even a small attachment to गुलाब जामुन भी रह गया, जाते जाते कि मरते टाइम सोच रहे हैं गुलाब जामुन और खा लेता तो मजा आ गया, तो उसके लिए एक और बर्थ लेना पड़ेगा. So enjoy that गुलाब जामुन. So that's why all attachments, be it little to all big attachments, everything should be broken. Only then your life can be successful. And this attachment can be broken by giving charity to Krishna, because a giver mentality comes. Now devotees, when he gives charity to Krishna, again when he loses money also, he is not that much worried. Material person, he will become mad. Once I was very rich person, now I become pauper, now I become poor, he will be depressed. But devotees are like that. Anyways, Krishna का था उन्होंने ले लिया. Still my basic maintenance तो चल ही रहा है. Krishna is handling everything. And even in life of Prabhupada we saw this example that when Prabhupada was small, means not very much small, he was already a devotee. At that time, still we were under the control of Britishers. So British का राज चल रहा था. At that time, what they did is Britishers created artificial famine. They created artificial scarcity of food. So at that time in Bengal, people were literally dying of hunger. They had nothing to eat. But what happened? Devotees, they didn't face any such kind of problems, because devotees, they were always dependent upon Krishna. So even Prabhupada, he didn't came from a very rich background. He didn't have money at that time. चावल का दाम भी बहुत बढ़ गया था. Not anyone could afford, and people were dying of hunger. But still at that time, not just Prabhupada, but all the devotees who were dependent upon Krishna, they were well taken care of. उनको they didn't face any shortage of food or anything. Why? Krishna reciprocates immediately. When you give something to Krishna, why will he not reciprocate? This basic thing, so many pastimes, Bhagavatam के pastimes हम इतना सुनते हैं, that is going again and again to prove you that if you give little to Krishna, nothing you will lose. You will only gain more and more. That's why so many pastimes, Bali Maharaj, Draupadi, Pandavas, so many pastimes we hear again and again to fit into that mind. That faith should come into ourselves that if I am giving to Krishna, I lose nothing, but I gain more and more. Just like example of prasad which I gave, that if you give prasad, devotee might think कि prasad मैंने कृष्णा को दे दिया, what will I eat? No, Krishna will give back again, and you will purify the food and give back to him. So this is the science behind giving charity. So as devotees, we should make sure that we should purify everything which we have, not just money, but everything. And there is one shloka that says, तन पवित्र सेवा किए, धन पवित्र किए दान, मन पवित्र हरि भजन सो त्रिविध होई कल्याण. So it says tan pavitra seva kiye. How will you purify? Tan means what? Body. How will you purify body?
By physically serving.
So tan pavitra seva kiye. When we come on weekends, when we do some services, physical services for Krishna, what happens? Our body gets purified. Then dhan pavitra kiye dan. How does wealth? Dhan means wealth. How does it gets purified? Charity by दान. जैसे कि जब इधर अपने वीकेंड में जब प्रसाद बनता है तो इट बिकम 100-200 डिवोटीज के लिए बनता है, बल्क में बनता है. बट सब पूरा थोड़ी तपेली कृष्णा के पास लेके जाते हैं that you eat. We take only little of that and we offer it to Krishna, and by that what happens? Everything becomes offered. So similarly, when we give just 10% or any amount, any percentage of wealth to Krishna, It's not that only that 10% is getting purified. All your wealth is getting purified. Just as prasad also becomes completely purified. So this is the science. And then how do you purify mind? Man pavitra hari bhajan se hoy. So how do you purify your mind? By doing constantly chanting the names of Krishna, by doing hari bhajan. So our main aim of life is purification. Purification of body, mind, soul, everything. And by doing charity you can purify your money. By doing service for Krishna you can purify your body. And finally, by doing more and more bhajan of Krishna, you can purify your mind and soul. So this is expressing gratitude and expedite purification. Third one, which is very, very important, is it's very, very important for growth of mission. So it said that only Artha can establish Dharma. Dharma, Artha, Kam, Moksha, what are Dharma? It's called 4 Purusha Arthas. So to establish Dharma, Artha is required. So you see in Vedic times, kings, they were very, very powerful. They had lot of artha, and that's why they could properly establish dharma. There were many kings who could very nicely establish dharma. Like one example in recent times is that of Ashok Maharaj. So Ashok Maharaj, he was a very, very wealthy king. आप सभी सुना Ashok the Great, Ashoka the Great, सुना होगा history books में पढ़ा होगा. So at that time, he was the follower of Buddhism. He was in love with the Buddhist philosophy. And he was so powerful, since he had lot of artha, he propagated this Buddhism philosophy across the India. So, under his Rajya, unke Rajya mein Buddhism philosophy was spread across India. But later when Shankaracharya came, he put his Mayavadi philosophy and he put this Buddhist philosophy to the borders of India. So that time, Ashok Maharaj, since he had lot of artha, he was so powerful he could propagate this mission, his mission of spreading Buddhism. So similarly, if we have artha, we could also propagate this movement of Krishna consciousness very, very nicely. You see, that's why other organizations like Swaminarayan, their temples are so beautiful. Akshardham and all, I have been to their temples are very, very beautiful. Why? Because there is so much time they stress upon giving at least 10%. Even sannyasis there are so many sannyasis are there, and their sannyas level is next level. They are completely detached. Instead, there are sannyasis, they don't even look at the face of opposite gender. That level of sannyasis are there, but they still talk about giving charity to yourself. That at least 10% you should give. Sannyasis are meant to be detached from all these managerial things, but still they emphasize more and more upon giving charity. And that's how they could build so very nice temples for Krishna, for service of God. And even Christian missionaries, you see, they are expanding so much. अभी Whitefield के रास्ते में आके आपको 10 churches दिखते हैं. So much land there. How they have so much things? So their preaching movement is also going on so nicely. How? It's based upon they also have rule that 10% at least you should give, and their followers also they give money profusely. And their Christian missionaries, their way of converting people is like they catch those people who are very, very poor. To them they say that you convert to our organization and we'll give you 2 lakh, 3 lakh. Like that they convert people. And when they get converted, now they say that now you have to give 10% of their money. So जो 2-3 लाख दिया है वो तो कुछ सालों में रिकवर हो जाएगा. So this is their mentality. But our mentality is not that of मोड़ हमको convert नहीं करना लोगों को. Our mentality is जो at least सनातन धर्म के वो तो आए. They understand this philosophy of Krishna consciousness so that they can be saved from these hellish conditions of life. Once a devotee, Russian devotee, he stays in Vrindavan, so he left Russia, now he is staying in Vrindavan only. He came to Bangalore almost a year back, not a year, 6 to 7 months back. So when he came to Bangalore and he was traveling for some work, so when he was traveling and we came back, he was completely shocked. Why he was shocked? He was staying in Mahal, Vrindavan ke Mahal mein rehte the. Here he saw so many liquor shops, cigarette shops, clubs, bars, everything he saw on the road, and he was literally scolding devotees that what are you doing? You are not doing any preaching. If you don't do preaching, they will all by doing these sinful activities, they will fall to hellish conditions of life. So, and it was shocking for him because for so many years, 15-20 years, he stayed in Vrindavan only. So he was saying that what are you doing? आपको preaching करना पड़ेगा. And for preaching, we need Lakshmi. That is very, very common thing. Like Christian missionaries, उनके main road पे ही आप देखेंगे that big churches are there on main road. You see, we are also building a temple now, but to just accumulate that half acre of land of temple, we were trying to save money from 2017. 2017 से हम सेव कर रहे हैं 2023 8 years हमको लगा to take just half acre of land, that too in a remote area of Whitefield. And these Christian missionaries, they have their temples in main roads. See, if we can have that place and if we put the Janmashtami Pandal there or Janmashtami board, we can attract so many people. We can say literally, we can save so many people. So this kind of mentality we also should develop. That just my little charity will help to pull more and more people into this fold of Krishna consciousness. Whatever we are doing, we are making this food for life programs also, where we are trying to feed people free of cost. And it's not that our goal is to feed poor people only, because Prabhupada once quoted very nicely that the only scarcity is there in this world, that is scarcity of Krishna consciousness. People are poor due to lack of Krishna consciousness only. There is no other reason. So if people, उनको अगर थोड़ा प्रसाद मिल जाएगा, so their devotional life begins by that only. Because when they take prasad, some sukriti goes into them and their devotional life begins. Whenever this FFL, it goes on daily, and Sarjapur also we have center where hundreds of people are fed daily. So photos come to us, right? And when we see the photos, we see many poor people are there. So they did never go to temple also. Like that people are also there, but they are also getting this facility of prasad. जिनके पास temple जाने का भी chance नहीं है, they are also getting some chance of getting into spirituality just by taking prasad. And prasad is so powerful that it has made so many devotees. इनिशियली हम भी प्रसाद के लिए ही आते थे इतना दूर से कि कुछ थे, चलो प्रसाद क्लास तो ठीक है, प्रसाद मिलेगा, उसी के लिए सो मेनी नाउ ऑल्सो यू सी सो मेनी फ्रंट लाइन टीचर्स आर देयर, दे स्टार्टेड विद प्रसाद ओनली. 1-2 साल उन्होंने बस प्रसाद खाया, क्लास के लिए भी नहीं आते थे, बट प्रसाद खा खा के उनका सुकृति इतना डेवलप हो गया कि नाउ दे वर एबल टू रेजोनेट विद कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस फिलोसफी एंड नाउ दे आर फ्रंट लाइन टीचर्स इन ISKCON. So just by prasad only we can do such massive change. What to talk about building more and more temples and putting more and more people in front of Krishna consciousness. So that's how much we can achieve just if we can give that charities which other organization, Christian missionaries, they are also giving. If we can also become that much serious, then we can create a great impact in the society. And finally, our main goal is to satisfy Krishna. Finally, we are doing this charity for a spiritual advancement only. How do we get spiritual advancement? By satisfaction of Krishna. If you can please pure devotee, one pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, if you can please Krishna, then only you can have any hope of spiritual advancement. By हमारी chanting तो हम जानते हैं, हम कैसे chanting कर रहे हैं, सो कर जब कर आगे chanting. With that chanting, how much can we advance? But if a pure devotee recommends our name, then we can easily go back home, back to God. Like Prabhupada used to say, you don't worry, you just do your activities, you be in fold of Krishna consciousness. Even if you are not completely pure, at the end of your life, don't worry. I have keys of back door of Vaikuntha. मैं पीछे के रास्ते से तुमको वैकुंठ में एंट्री दिलाऊंगा. You just be serious, you continue following 4 regulative principles, you continue chanting 16 rounds, you continue doing, supporting these missionary activities. I will take care of you coming back home to Godhead. This was Prabhupada also guarantees. So if we can please that personality, we can automatically please Krishna. So how do we please Krishna? By doing all these activities. Even chanting we do for pleasure of Krishna. Chanting, reading, hearing, giving charity, preaching purposes. Anything we do for pleasure of Krishna. So in that way, we can advance in Krishna consciousness. So this is our GEMS philosophy. Just as fruit vendor, she gave little fruits and she got her basket filled with gems. You also can fill your basket with these gems. So she is growing materially. When you give Krishna, something to Krishna, it's definitely multifold you will get into return. But devotees, why their mood is they want to express gratitude, and with that what happens? That purification will also happen, and then missions growth, which is very very important. ये सब first 2 are for our benefit only, growing materially. ये तो हमारे लिए है सब कुछ. बट समथिंग मिशन के लिए भी तो कुछ करके जाना है ना, ऐसे ही मर के चले गए क्या फ़ायदा उस चीज़ का. इफ़ अगर टेम्पल के लिए तुमने एक ब्रिक भी डोनेट किया है, वो टेम्पल में जो भी डिवोटीज आएंगे एंड जो भी डिवोटीज भक्त बनेंगे, उसका some % of credit will go to you also. So that much importance of charity is there. You have to give something for missions growth also, and ultimately it's for pleasure of or satisfaction of Krishna. And finally, one thing to understand is actually only those people who have nice sukriti, they can give in charity. Because we go to rich, very filthy rich places also. Karthik Prabhu was sharing his experience. That he used to go to a very posh community to give lectures. There so much of money you cannot imagine also. But still when time of Janmashtami came and some returns were expected from them, donations कितने हैं वहाँ से 1,000, 2,000 for Janmashtami maximum. So rich people. So not everyone can give charity. Those who are devotional Sukriti only, such people can give charity. Even our devotees who are not so rich, they only collected together and they only made this Janmashtami program successful, which takes 1.5 crore. So they only contributed amongst themselves and they came to this point. So Sukriti, this charity cannot be given by everyone. Only person who is large-hearted person who has some Sukriti process, only such persons can do charity. So that's why as a devotee it's very very important to engage in this purifying activity and to purify our tan, man, dhan. These kind of things are very very important. So I'll stop my lecture here. Any questions, any doubts? It's a clear.
For the last point of satisfying Krishna, as we are all aware that you said that our practice is not that much strong that we can have directly that position. But what can be the initial steps, like step by step we have to reach ultimately to that position?
So the question is, on our own we cannot advance so much. We need mercy. Mercy. If a pure devotee recommends our name, हमारा काम हो गया. So our aim is to satisfy a pure devotee. That is Srila Prabhupada for us. So whatever Srila Prabhupada, he is not there personally now. So वो तो है नहीं अभी, तो शायद अगर वो पर्सनली होते तो मैं उनकी सेवा करता, उनके पैर धोता, उनको मसाज करता, तो मेरा कोई चांस था. अभी तो कोई चांस ही नहीं है. We should not think like that. We can serve a great personality by his Vani also. Like the instructions which he has given, that is his Vani, and when we follow those instructions, we are doing his Vani Seva. So even though Prabhupada is not here present physically, but if we follow the instructions which are given by Prabhupada, we are directly serving Prabhupada. And when Prabhupada will see that he is sincerely endeavoring so much, then automatically he will be pleased, Krishna will be pleased, and mercy will be bestowed upon us. So that is the science of purpose. Hare Krishna. Anything else?
Prabhu, 3 modes होते हैं जिनके goodness, passion and ignorance. हम सबको सजेस्ट करते हैं कि goodness का होना चाहिए, सजेस्ट करें. बट अब जब हम काम करते हैं ऑफिस में, जब हम कुछ और काम करते हैं, पैशन वाला मोड में आ जाता है, इग्नोरेंस वाले में बहुत कम. तो हमें क्या हमेशा गुडनेस वाले मोड में रहना चाहिए?
So just as we discussed that 3 modes, so it's not that you can remain perfectly in one mode anytime. कभी एक मोड हावी होता है, कभी एक मोड हावी होता है. So similarly when you go in office, naturally mode of passion comes, but then again when you come to the association of devotee, mode of goodness comes. So that's why we keep on emphasizing stay more and more in association of devotees. So that is one thing which we can do, and naturally office में जाएंगे तो mode of passion रहेगा ही. तो इसीलिए हम बार बार बोलते हैं कि मरते दम तक ऑफिस का काम नहीं करना है. एक टाइम पे यू हैव टू लीव दैट ऑफिस वर्क एंड यू हैव टू कम एंड सर्व कृष्णा. सो दैट इज द अल्टीमेट गोल. व्हेन यू डू दैट, अल्टीमेटली एट दैट टाइम ओनली यू कैन थिंक ऑफ कमिंग टू मोड ऑफ गुडनेस एंड अबाउ लेवल्स. बट एट आवर लेवल हमको थोड़ी थोड़ी प्रैक्टिस करनी है. जैसे ऑफिस में डिवोटीज लेक्चर लगाते रहते हैं, बीच में दे चैंटिंग भी करते रहते हैं. सो ऑल दिस एक्टिविटीज यू कैन डू इवन इन दैट एनवायरनमेंट. यू कैन बी पीसफुल एंड इन मोड ऑफ गुडनेस. So all these little endeavors करना है, but ultimate solution is Krishna service. Now we have Nikhil Prabhu also. Nikhil Prabhu can come and address people. So Nikhil Prabhu is one of very senior devotees. He's my senior also.
He's very senior to me in terms of spiritual life.
Yeah, he'll speak something. He's our finance in charge. We'll let you know if you are interested to give any charity, if you feel little motivated, if you want to contribute anything. Many of you are already contributing also. But if you want any kind of contribution, you can contact him and address him.
Hare Krishna. I think Prabhu has very nicely addressed all the things, the importance of charity especially. Like we have seen like how important the way of giving charities in a day-to-day life and how it will help on our Krishna consciousness. Yes, I was hearing very nicely, you was explaining all those terminologies, like how in a real life scenario, how it is very important to the people around to support them to come to Krishna consciousness, make their life successful, as you are all getting so much of opportunity right now. So one thing I wanted to add to it is a brahmachari. You see, many times you feel, no, brahmacharis advance in Krishna consciousness so nicely. You feel, no, sometimes we are working all together. These people are, in the mission and they are doing so much. whatever Deep Prabhu gets benefit, the same thing we can get when we support the mission. Prabhupada tells clearly in one purport, in some letters and all, Prabhupada clearly tells that whatever brahmachari gets the benefit by serving the society, like this, like giving classes, helping devotees, solving their emotional problems, helping them come to closer to Krishna, same benefit all of us can get just by supporting the mission, by giving car, by giving facilities like this place, and by giving the hard-earned money in whichever way possible. The preaching activities, if we support the preaching activities, we get the same benefit. That's what Srila Prabhupada tells. So it is in our hands right now, like how much ever money like we can contribute on monthly basis. I have a group called IOF Missionary Group. So we have that group actually. So I'll get your details. You can get added into the group. I'll keep posting, the details of the Lakshmi, like amount that you, not amount, exactly QR code and forms that you have to fill. How much ever you want to donate, you can donate. But normally, like what we do is who are working employees, we donate 10% of our salaries. For example, if I'm earning 60,000, I give 6,000 to the mission. 6%, and next whatever amount is there, like I'll use for my users. That's how it goes. I'm not asking you to give a 10% right now. Whatever you can happily give from your heart, how much ever, like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, whatever you can happily give from your heart, you can start contributing. That will help the mission. See, now we are getting prasadam. Tomorrow morning also, if you come to the class, you'll get prasadam. So many things we are just getting. Let us start giving. Let us start giving so that so many people like us will get benefited. Especially this Lakshmi which we are getting, that we are using in youth preaching. Like many of us, like sitting here, many of the other youths who are sitting in PGs and many other places, they will get benefited by doing that. So ultimately, only one thing we get, that is benefit by doing charity. We get only benefit. Krishna will be pleased, and definitely our spiritual life also will get boosted going ahead. So I will be taking your details and I will be adding you to the group, and I will send all those important details. Like you can slowly, once you get your salary, you can start creating that habit of donating something. So it will be very, very pleasing to Krishna, and we will advance so nicely in Krishna consciousness. Wherever we are, if you start, expressing Krishna our gratitude through this activity, it will really help. And as I told, the benefit when you are supporting the mission, the same benefit you get. How much ever Deep Prabhu gets by preaching, that much effort you also get by preaching. That's the glory Krishna wants to advance all of us. So it really helps actually. So I'll take your leave. I will just take your details and we'll do the needful. And how much ever you can heartfully donate with your heart, you can do it. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
समझ गया ना चीज़? Level 3 means practical implementation. Say Ekadashi also we started doing like that. So it's very, very important. But scheme तो सबको समझ आ गई 25 दिन में ऐसा. So all these points we already noted that why it's for our benefit only. Even though you give or you don't give, it's finally our main point was to present in front of you that what are the benefits and how you can spiritually advance. That is the main goal. Please don't think that after the class that अभी तो देना पड़ेगा कुछ. ऐसा नहीं है. It's only a presentation. Just like we present every other class, we are presenting this class also. And it's an important aspect. That's why we chose to present this. Finally, good doubt, question.
Out of the topic
And this thing I announced in last class also. So those who were not present in class. So we have started the system of sadhana sheets. Like daily, each and every one of you is expected to send your sadhana reports to Akash Pro. So I'll share his number to each and every one of you individually. So daily आप कितना reading, कितना hearing, कितना chanting कर रहे हो in a particular template. So it is there. It is just for a case of monitoring. That if some authority is there on your head, then you will think that I have to do some spiritual activity. Because PG में जाके तो हम सब भूल जाते हैं naturally. We forget and slowly people go out of this activity. So it's very, very important to be accountable to your senior. So your all sadhana reports you can send to Akash Tool. So all these things I will be getting the updates. And don't think that आज कुछ साधना नहीं हुई तो मैं नहीं भेजता. Even if it's 0, you send it. It's no issues. We can understand your work commitments also. but it's important to be regular. It's important to be accountable. It is the most important thing. So you all will send sadhana reports. I'll personally send each and every one of you templates and his number. You can continue from today only. And another thing, we have Melkote Yatra next month. Your groups में message आया ना? Everyone has seen that message. So how many of you will be coming? You will be coming to Melkote Yatra? No, why? Huh? Leave. It's on weekend, bro. Saturday, Sunday. So as I said that by attending such yatras only, we get the essence of devotional service. Like अभी तो जॉब के साथ हम कंटिन्यू कर रहे हैं, 1-2 घंटा भक्ति कर रहे हैं, तो उसका इतना स्वाद नहीं आता. But when we go to such yatras, full day, 24 hours we engage in devotional activities only. So you will get a next level taste. You can ask Prabhu. He comes in each and every one of our yatras, very experienced. So that is an altogether different experience. So that's why we persuade people that at least these yatras, it's not that every now and then we have. And it's for newcomers so that they can become more and more enthusiastic in devotional service. So I would recommend each and every one of you to come. What about you? You will be coming? You can register now only. Link has been shared on the group. आप तो आएंगे? आप करो? What about you? आपका डिसाइड हुआ? ठीक है, just try to make things happen, because definitely after yatra you will see that it was completely worth it. So please do come, and जो sure है वो तो आज ही register कर लो. I would request them to register by today. Okay, thank you very much. We'll go back to this one. Hare Krishna. Raj Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada.